What's up, everyone? I'm Jason Wojo. Welcome to the Lifeonaire Show, where we help people make more, work less, and create lives and businesses they love. I am joined by my illustrious co-host, Polish Peter. What's up, bro?
Okay, I don't know what the illustrious means, 100% what that actually means, but it's something probably, hopefully good, okay?
Well, it's too late now. It's recorded, and there's evidence of this, and so I'm just going to start using long words to introduce you so that you have to look it up later and just hope it was positive.
Yeah, I might have to pull up my dictionary and start watching it as you're talking. By the way, For those of you who have never been to our Get-A-Life Getaway events, just to show up there and see him use big words is worth it all by itself.
Well, dude, people didn't know this, but listening to the Lifeonaire podcast, Lifeonaire Show makes you smarter. We're expanding your vocabulary and your command of the dictionary, of the English dictionary.
Let's make sure it says English dictionary, okay?
Yeah. So this is something you guys didn't know, right? So it's an added bonus. Now, so listen, today I want to talk about a little bit with Peter about our tagline, work less, make more money, and create a life and business you love. And that's our tagline. That's what we've been using here. And quite frankly, like that encapsulates to some extent what we do. But at the end of the day, what we do in Lifeonaire is help people create awesome lives, right? And businesses that serve those lives. Now, some people decide they want to be an employee for somebody else. Totally cool. You can still have the life you want, assuming that you love what you do. You love your job and every aspect of your job. So for instance, that means you find it fulfilling, you find it rewarding, it meets your time and schedule demands, and it meets all these other vision element items. And so what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, everyone has this thing called a vision. And your vision is what guides your life. It's the blueprint for your ideal life that you want to live. And yes, you have a business vision too. That's a little bit separately. We're not going to talk about that now, but we're going to talk about your vision as it relates to putting this thing together. It's a living, breathing document. And quite frankly, it's not a goals checklist. It's not a to-do list. It's a combination of your dreams, your aspirations, your identity, the things you want to experience, do, have, be. It's this incredible document that we help people create at our Get-A-Life Getaway that guides your life, that helps you. It's that anchor as kind of the seas of life kind of toss and turn around. You know what you want to do. You have given it some serious thought. By the way, this Get-A-Life Getaway that we'll tell you about in a second, it takes us a full 3 days with you to sit down with you and help you create this vision. But when something happens in life, when life throws you a curveball, you now know how to deal with it. And you're not shaken. You're not disrupted like other people that kind of don't have that firm anchor, that don't have the vision. Peter, especially with everything that's just happened over the past year, right? How has a vision helped people with that?
Yeah, but one thing I want to clarify before I answer that question is, at one point you said everyone has a vision. I think one of the things that's important to say, not everyone in Lifeonaire has a vision, because before I actually experienced Lifeonaire, I had no freaking clue what vision is.
Right.
I didn't know anything about it. And a lot of people that come to our Get-A-Life Getaway events, they come in and they first time ever, they experience the actual thing about writing a vision. Now, as far as the entire COVID period here, the past year that we've been, what has happened, and I have a bunch of students in 2 of my groups, and what the vision has done for them, it was a guiding light for them to go through this entire period. Yeah. Most of my students have been thriving. Actually, I would say almost all of them have been thriving throughout this entire period. And it was, whether it's family, business, my students, their businesses have grown during this entire period because of, I think largely is because of that vision. Vision is that guiding light, that future that you are living into. Because guess what? You're always living into some kind of a future. Yeah. The problem with most people is that the future that they're living into, they're not clear what that is, and they just basically almost like fall into it without really recognizing it, right?
Well, that's a huge thing, right? Because like most of us kind of at some point in our lives, we're kind of drawn down this path, maybe because it was easy, because it was convenient, because we knew people, because people expected us to do certain things. And you get to this point in life where number one, you realize you're not even living your own life anymore. But two, when something does happen, you're really thrown for a loop. Like you said as well, like I'm aware of a lot of other Lifeonaires that have thrived and maybe even had their best years ever, not even just professionally, but in their lives, because they set themselves up that way. And interestingly, I've also talked with Lifeonaires that life really hasn't changed much for them because, they're like, dude, I already spent a ton of time at home with my family, but because I created a business that is remote and doesn't require me to go anywhere, and I can do it from wherever I want. And, they're running their business from their RV, or they are already doing the things they want to do. Nothing really changed that much for them. And so that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Another great benefit out of the vision, I think it is this. Before I had the vision, if you really think about it, wherever you are at life is a result of the choices that you've been making throughout your life.
Yes.
Right? Like the decision, whether you go and look to get this job or marry this person or date this person or whatever, you're always making some kind of a decisions, right? Now, what happens most of the time is that people, when they make those choices and decisions without having the vision, they just make a decision based on their current time, current experiences, current circumstances, and all that kind of stuff, right? So it basically goes like it's a zigzag, and there is no clear direction where they're going. Now, when you have a vision, that you've put together yourself, that moves, touches, and excites you, that this is where you want to go, that vision is the guiding light that you're going after. So now when you have to make a decision, a choice in your life, you ask yourself, does this choice align and get me closer to living that vision?
Yeah.
And that is a very powerful way of living your life, because you bring the power within yourself, and the choices that you make are going to be moving you towards that vision. If I want to live a life where I am, have my own company. So now I have a job offer. Am I going to take this job offer? Is this going to get me closer to that life that I want? Yeah. Or I'm going to have to think really carefully on how I'm going to do this. And it's a powerful document.
Well, as you're talking, I'm thinking there's a difference between making decisions by default and making decisions deliberately. I want to repeat that so everybody's very clear on that. There's a difference between making decisions by default, which is without a lot of thinking, and you kind of just do it because it's available to you, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a choice, whether it's something that pops up in your life, or you have a deliberate choice. You're intentional about that choice because you have a vision guiding you. And I love the question you said, is this decision going to move me further away or closer to my vision? And then making the according choice based on that assessment.
Right. One last thing I want to mention, your brain is very good at focusing on certain things. There's such a thing, well, not about yours. That's a whole different story, which we're not going to get into. But, there is such a thing called reticular activating system inside your brain that actually forces you to focus on a small percentage of all of your surroundings and everything. Because if you didn't, you would be focused on the fact that how the air is blowing in your, the air conditioning, how your skin is feeling right now, how you're breathing and everything. You'll go nuts. So the reticular activating system actually allows you to go and focus on certain things. That vision, along with that brain, that gift that you have, allows you to go and put these things together and get you moving closer to that vision. And I think that's why vision is so powerful, because you start focusing on that, start going after that. And that's why a lot of Lifeonaires that we have experience with, they start living their vision, year and a half, 2 years, 3, 4 years in very quickly, when they were thinking that it's going to take them 5, 10 years to do it.
Well, let's unpack that a little bit. I love there's physiological data to support this and scientific research to support this focusing concept. And the vision is that focusing tool. That's, it's the difference between, a sunlight that's going to give you a tan and sunlight that can burn through 2 inches of steel, right? When it's focused like a laser. And so when you mention people living their visions in a couple of years, we're not talking about, making changes in your life and making decisions differently. We're talking about literally every part of your life being turned upside down in the way you want it to be. Right. And so this means now your finances, maybe you're someone you have a lot of debt and you've struggled your entire life. And in a period of maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, you're completely debt free. Or maybe you're someone who's been unhealthy. And then all of a sudden, a year down the road, you're 50 pounds lighter. And this, because there's a compounding effect to this as well. So the longer you go without a vision, the further away from it you get. Conversely, the quicker and sooner you have that solid vision, those small steps add up sequentially to yield incredible, remarkable results. So that in a year, 2 years, 3 years, your life looks nothing like the way it used to be. You're like not even the same person anymore because you're living your vision. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is very cool. And that's what we actually do at the Get-A-Life Getaway event. You know,
Right.
The first day when you come in there, we deconstruct, we, tear down, almost like Wojo uses this analogy of a house, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a great point. So it's this Get-A-Life Getaway is specifically and solely designed for you to walk out of there with your Lifeonaire vision, a clear, compelling vision that has action steps. We'll talk about all that in a second, that you now know how to live that. But what I tell people is like, hey, we're together for 3 days. Here's the way this is going to look. Our first day is like, if you've ever watched Flip This House or HGTV, any of these programs on real estate now, the first thing they do is they go in there and demo, right? It's demo day. That means you're going in there and getting rid of all the stuff you don't want in the final product. You're getting rid of all things that are going to be in the way of the new version of your home, in the case of the flipping house.
So one of the things we're going to be talking about that first day as part of that demo is looking at your beliefs. Yeah. Looking at what is it that you are believing, thinking about, and all that kind of stuff, right? If you have a bad views or beliefs about money, that's going to keep you away from making that money. So this is one of those demo things that we're going to be working on.
So, dude, I love the analogy. I got this from Stephen Covey, and he says, hey, we already talked about the vision being your blueprint, right? The vision is your map. What would happen, and this is not my example, again, this is Stephen Covey. He says, what would happen if you were in Chicago and you were brand new, you didn't know anything about Chicago, and you were given a map that said Chicago, and you had a place you wanted to become, a place you wanted to get, right? And you were going to use that map to get to that destination. But what happened instead was you were given a map of Detroit because there was a printing error, and the map of Detroit accidentally says Chicago. You will never get to that destination. It'll be extremely frustrating, and eventually you're going to give up. Well, a lot of us are living with the wrong map of life. We don't have the right blueprint of life. You don't have the vision. And so you end up chasing your tail. And this is what Peter's talking about. That's why on day one, we have to get in there and uncover, do you have the right map? Are you on the right track? Do you have limiting beliefs? Have you had some breakdowns in your strategy and your tactics regarding money, regarding how you kind of prioritize your schedule, the things that are important to you? Let's get you fixed, right? And I don't mean fixed because you're not, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you at all. We're just helping you. We're empowering you to kind of start to uncover some things that have held you back.
I like to look at it as opening your reality kind of thing on the first day, because a lot of times people get this aha moments, like all that stuff that was been running in the background, right? At the event, what I talk about, we have these blind spots, right? So what ends up happening, if you think about it, when you're driving a car, you have a blind spot in your left and right side, right, over your shoulder. And all of a sudden, when the car is in the blind spot, you don't see it. You don't know that it's there. And then when you finally either slow down or speed up, or the car does that, all of a sudden you see the car and you're able to make a different decision so you don't hit that car if you weren't trying to, switch the lanes. What we're doing on the first day is basically uncovering those blind spots in your life, which a lot of times are those beliefs, what you thought the life should be, how you are as a person, right? What you believe about yourself. And when we start uncovering those beliefs and those blind spots coming in front of you, now you have a lot more power to choose and decide how you're going to live your life.
Yeah.
That is such an empowering thing.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, and we've seen, there's a lot of different limiting beliefs and blind spots. The three that kind of pop up over and over again, and that we've focused on day one, is number one, your beliefs around money and finances. Number two, the beliefs around what's possible for you and what you can, should be, and are able to do in life. And third is the world in general, right? And so what are some of your beliefs around things that have kind of resulted in the way you have a perspective around things? And so that's really a lot of the focus around day one. And so it's demo day, like demo day, it's a little bit dirty, right? So you're going to roll up our sleeves and get in there. But you need to do it. It's a necessary step. So here's where it gets cool though. Day two is when we start to do, again, let's go back to our analogy about flipping a house or doing a rehab. So day 2 is we go in and we do the rough stuff, the bigger stuff. We put on the roof, we're putting on the siding, we're putting up drywall, we're putting down flooring, right? So what we do on day 2 is we start to dig into, and this is the first part of the vision creation process, we start to dig in the big level things, the high level things that go into your vision, right? We're not exactly crystal clear. We're still at a 20,000 foot view, but we start to identify, what do you really want in your life? What do you really find valuable? What do you find important? What do you want to experience? And we start to kind of massage those things to bring clarity. And we'll get into day 3 in a moment, but this is a huge, huge transitional point from the demo day, because demo day, we're kind of breaking things down a little bit. Day 2, we start to build things back up.
Yeah. What I like about day 2 is not only the exercise that we debrief, which I'm not going to tell you what that exercise is. I want you guys to actually be there and experience it. But at lunch, when we send you guys out to lunch, it's a longer lunch. And this is probably one of the coolest lunches you'll ever experience, because you are going to start creating your vision. And it's such a cool thing. I see people being so excited to go and do this. They come back from lunch and they're just, have you noticed, like when people come back from lunch, they're a little more excited, they're more empowered, they're like they're a different person.
Yeah.
Because they start working on their life, with their vision, what they really want.
It's pretty remarkable. Yeah. And we're not going to give away the secret to that overnight exercise, but it is, I'll tell you, it's phenomenal. And we have a very proprietary way of kind of helping you pull the things out of you that you want, right? This isn't about this event isn't about us telling you what you want. Telling us what we want for you, but you have to decide this for yourself, because otherwise, like, we'd be just like everybody else, because we've all been conditioned. We've all been exposed to the same circles of influences throughout our entire life. And we don't want to be that person for you. Instead, our job is to pull out of you, to help you pull out of yourself what you really want, right? We're pulling back the filters. We're pulling back the conditioning. We're getting rid of any kind of things that are limiting beliefs around what's possible. And so that you can finally, for the first time, see, wow, this is really what it's supposed to be like.
Right. One thing I love about this particular event in a whole, and a lot of companies and a lot of event companies, they say this, but I think this is very true for us, is that this event is very customized specifically for you. And the reason for that is every single one of the participants in there are working on their own vision. And we are there to help you, come alongside of you, to help you fulfill on that vision, to help you write on that vision. But throughout the entire event, you're not just sitting there in a chair and listening like most of the events. You're actually working on your own life, your own vision. And it is such a cool experience to be able to go through.
It's amazing. And along that line of customizing it, we actually have communication with every participant prior to attending to make sure we deliver exactly what they're looking for, because every event's a little bit different, and so this is something that's been incredibly customized to you to make sure you get what you want out of it, which again is that crystal clear, compelling vision. And so that's day 2. Day 3, now we got to land this puppy, right? We got to land and let the rubber hit the road. And now on day 3, by the end of day 2, you have a pretty clear understanding of what you want, but quite frankly, you probably don't know how you're going to do it. And this is where a lot of people get hung up, Peter. And what I tell people is like, listen, the how is actually the easiest part of all of this. Mm-hmm. And so what we do on day 3 is help you identify the specifics, but also how you're going to achieve it. Because Lifeonaire is anything but this feel good, pie in the sky, new age approach to living where we're just going to, go to our happy place, right? Our safe place. That's not it. We're giving you tangible strategies, techniques, and tools to make this thing a reality. Like, because what you write down on that paper, what you put in that spreadsheet or in that Google Doc or whatever it is, that has to become a reality, or else we've failed. And so what we need to do now is show you and walk you through how to achieve it. And so on day 3, for instance, we will walk through your ideal calendar. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you've seen the exercise where I've shown you an example of my calendar. You're going to do the same thing. We're going to know how much exactly it is going to take to fund your vision. We're going to know the specific action steps, like the real tangible stuff. Like, here's exactly what needs to be done in this order for you to achieve this as quickly and as easily as possible. We're going to talk about waypoints. Now, waypoints are nothing more than mile markers along your journey towards those things you write down in your vision, to make sure you're on track, to make sure you don't get sidetracked and fall off the wagon and then get run over by the wagon, right? We're going to help you have that bulletproof plan in place.
So think about this for a second. Day one, you start looking at where you're at, right? Deconstructing some of those beliefs and all that kind of stuff. Because, by the way, 95% of your success has to do with what's going on between the 2 years here. So that's a big part of the day one. Day two, we're going to start working on your vision, clarifying what that looks like, what your vision looks like, what do you want your life to look like ultimately. So you're putting this down on the paper. And day three, we're giving the exact steps to get you there. Think about this. You walk out of that place and you can start implementing the next day the steps that will get you towards your vision. I'm not saying that next week you're going to live your vision, but you're going to start living parts of your vision, and you're going to start creating the steps to be able to get there. Now, that is the cool thing for me to be able to actually experience, not only as a person, but as a coach and as a Lifeonaire. So, Wojo, tell them what it's going to take for them to actually to be there in that event.
So before I actually do that, I want to just wrap this up in our analogy. And so what we did is said, we had our demo day, we had our rough in day, and then on day three, that's where we get granular. That's where we're putting in the lighting, the light bulbs, and the backsplash, and the fixtures, and so now we have a finished project, right? And listen, if anyone listening right now, if you've ever rehabbed a house or had any kind of watched one of these rehab shows, what do? One of the very first things is they have that blueprint. They need to know what life is going to look like so they can create that final product, and bang, from A to Z, we've now done that at this Get-A-Life Getaway. So, and by the way, let me just also include, this is every part of your life. And so we do these vision element items. And so we look at everything from your finances to your person, to your health, to your relationships, to your schedule, to your faith, if that's important to you. You're not making sure you have no regrets, looking at your charitable life. Like, we're literally uncovering every rock in your life to make sure that they are being addressed. And so here's how this works. We have approximately 4 to 6 of these Get-A-Life Getaways every year around the country. And you can choose one that's close to you, or you can choose one that's further away, turn it into a vacation, maybe stay a couple extra days before or after the event, and just enjoy the local area, and think about what you've learned or what you're going to learn. And so the way you can register for one of these events is by going to lifeonaire.com/experiences, or if you just go to lifeonaire.com, you'll see the tab for it as well. And you can join us at a Get-A-Life Getaway. Now, what I will tell you is, especially this year, because we are back live, we're in person, attendance at these events is very, very limited. And so if this is something that you want to be part of, then I would strongly suggest you do it sooner rather than later. Now, the one thing we haven't even mentioned, right now, the events are at a discounted rate. However, with that being said, even if they go back to the full price of $997, these events are 100% guaranteed. What does that mean, Peter? That means you come to the event, you spend a full 3 days with us. All right. I want you to spend it the entire time. Dude, by the way, that's always bugged me. Like when someone says, hey, come to the first half of the first day, and if it's not what you expected, we'll give you your money back. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what if you cover all the good stuff on day 2? And by the way, I think that's a kind of a shady way they get you to stay, right? Because you don't know what they haven't covered yet. We're not saying that. Come to the entire 3 days. Come to the entire 3 days. And if you don't think it was worth every single penny that you paid to be there, whether you snagged this while it was still on sale, or you paid full price, or if, who knows, maybe if we even increase the price, doesn't matter. If you don't think it was worth every single penny that you paid to be there, we will refund you right there on the spot at the end of day 3 after you've attended all 3 days. Dude, I don't know if it gets any stronger than that.
No, it doesn't. So how much is it going to cost them to actually be there?
I'm glad you brought that up, Peter. But before I actually answer that, let me tell you that nobody since I've been doing these events, no one has come up to me and asked for their money back. And we've been doing these events. I've been doing these events for 5-6 years myself now. And we've had over 10,000 people come through this event. Not a single person has asked for the money back. Now, to your point, which you're alluding to, we have a very, very special, this is the first time we've ever done this, offer for one specific event. Now, if you go to the lifeonaire.com/experiences, like I told you about, we have Raleigh, North Carolina coming up April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And what we are doing, just to try something new to really help people out in this time of COVID, is we're going to do this. Peter, you can attend for a dollar. You put up $1 to attend. And then at the end of the event, you either think it was worth the full price of being there, or you don't pay anything additional. But if you do think it was worth the value, we'll, on that Monday after the event, we'll just go ahead and charge the $497 for the event. And so you get to attend for $1 the entire event, and it's either worth that $497 100%. You have no issues, and we'll put it down for Monday, or you just say, hey, nope, I didn't like it, and you just pay $1 to go to the event.
So the price that they're going to be charged happens after the event. So you actually get to experience it. This is how much we believe in this event. I love the fact that we are doing this just for $1. And this is to claim your seat, because as you know, we only have 35 seats total in this particular room that we can have because of the COVID. So that $1, it's going to claim your seat to actually be there. Now, what that also means, if you don't show up, what's going to happen if they don't show up?
If you don't show up, if you don't contact us, within 72 hours prior to the start of the event, you'll get charged the full amount on Monday. Okay. Cause you took a seat from somebody else that could have been there. So you will get charged if you don't show up. But if you show up, come to the full 3 days and tell us it was everything expected and more, or else you can literally, just pay a single $1. And so this is essentially a try it before you buy it experience, where we are 100% confident, 1,000% confident this event will be everything you want. And you'll look at that and be like, dude, this is the best money I've ever spent in my life. Or you don't have to spend anything at all.
All right. So to me, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I will jump on there, go to that website right now, sign up claim your seat for $1. And we're going to send you some emails after this to get you started. We're going to give you a workbook at the event. And we're going to have an awesome, amazing event that I'm so excited that we'll get to do this live again.
Dude, it's awesome. So just to clarify, final thing, only the Raleigh, North Carolina event we're doing this for right now, because it's the first event it's literally not only the first event of the year, it's the first event we've done in a year. And so that's why we're running this $1 special. And so, like Peter said, go to lifeonaire.com/experiences. And if you just remember lifeonaire.com, that's fine too. You'll see it very simply. Raleigh, North Carolina, April 29th through May 1st. I can't wait to be part of your transformation. I can't wait to see what the incredible things that are come as a result of you joining us at this event. And hopefully by the time you hear this, there are seats left, because I'll feel terrible if you get locked out. But do it now. Do it now, because the life you deserve, the life you dream about, the one that you have just dreamt about awaits. And this is the event to get you there. Anything else you want to add, Peter?
Yeah, if anything else, you get to meet me, because I'll be one of the people running this event. So
that's right. So I forgot to mention that as well. Like, don't not show up because of that. But Peter and I literally are the ones to teach this event. You're not getting, this isn't handed off to somebody else. This isn't outsourced. You are literally getting taught specifically and directly by Peter and myself. And it's a fun time. As you can tell from the podcast, we just have a lot of fun. People have incredible breakthroughs. They walk out of there just on cloud nine. It's awesome. So lifeonaire.com/experiences, Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll see everyone there.